Greetings and welcome back once again. This is the moon trying to get this stuff right. John starting early. Welcome to the conversation, everybody. Hold on, John. We're gonna get there. It's crazy. I saw it popped in over on Goldie's channel, and then I saw the picture, and I didn't mean to laugh, but the pimp named Slickback picture, real story, man. When it first came out, I'm not gonna front, I thought it was funny. This was many years ago, right? And so when you made the reference, I was laughing, and then I was like, wait a minute. A mind tell me go back and look at pimp named Slickback. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a trip down memory lane. Thank you, Goldie Channel, for jogging my thoughts on it. And because it is very relevant to the conversation that's happening now, right? And so, all fun and joke aside, it's I'm gonna try not to laugh because it's not funny on one hand, but and they made it as comedy, and so it's funny on the other hand. But there's some real serious things in here. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I saw people drop off. Hold on, let me make sure I could be heard before I get started. Yeah, I can be heard. Not sure what's happening, but I can be heard. So let me try to share my screen, and we can go through this comparative analysis of then and now, and why, through laughter and satirical presentation, it opened our gates. I like talking about opening our gates, our mind and our thoughts. It opened our mind and thoughts to accept certain information, right? It allowed us to accept it because it was presented to us in a comedical way. Even me back in the day, I'm like, you got to say the whole thing. It's like a Tribe Called Quest, right? But when you look back at what you were accepting and what was becoming normalized, we got to be like, okay, at what point do we now hold ourselves accountable? And I think to a certain degree, as it relates to KS, there's a lot of people who, because they're getting comedic value from it, because it's entertaining, people are unwilling to kind of really be honest about what is being said. So let's look at a pimp named Slickback. Let me see if I can share my screen. Oh, this thing be doing the most. Can I share my screen from here? I don't know what's happening to the live stream. Let me know if you can see from there. Oh, Boxer, don't tell me I can't share my screen from here. Don't tell me I did it again. Hold on, peoples. Hold on. No, I cannot. Okay, well, guess what? I'm just gonna play it from my phone, and then we can do it like that. I'm not gonna stress. Why stress when you could just play it from your phone? So you're not gonna see the image. It might be the best for YouTube anyway. So we're gonna play it, and we're gonna stop along, and we're gonna talk about it, right?
My name is a pimp named Slickback, and I believe I may have misplaced some merchandise at this residence. There she is. Bitch, I hope you got the monies to cover this little vacation you've been taking.
Now hold up, Slickback.
No.
Wait, and also please excuse the language because Slickback likes calling everybody a B. So he's looking for his who, okay? And he shows up at Riley them house, and Grandpa is pushing back on the way in which he's referring the woman, right?
That's a pimp named Slickback.
That's what I said, Slickback.
No, it's a pimp named Slickback, like a Tribe Called Quest. You say the whole thing. A pimp named Slickback.
Hey, can we call you Slickback for short?
No, nigga, I'm a pimp named Slickback.
Crystal, who is this person?
Nigga, are you deaf? I'm a pimp named Slickback. Say it with me now. He's my pimp.
So the pimp is clean, he got his suit on, okay? Just like the picture you see here, this is the same way he's looking, and he's having to establish himself kind of to a certain degree. He's a high value man. You need to say his full name. You don't go to take any shortcuts with him. He's very serious about his image, right?
You're a pimp. So you really are
Yes, I'm a hoe. Come on, bitch, now.
A pimp named Slickback. Could I please have a minute?
A minute? Let us pray the pimp's prayer. Lord, please pray for the soul of this bitch and guide my pimp hand and make it strong, Lord, so that she might learn a hoe's place. Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
So she has no agency. You got to say the whole thing, Ella. She doesn't have any agency over her own body, her own mind. She has to answer to the beck and call of the pimp. She has to ask, can she interface, can she interact, all of these type of things. I'm just saying, you could disagree, John. It's going to be open in a minute, right? This is just my analysis based on how he's look, the revenue he's bringing in, the all of these things. He may not be high value, but for some people, he may be high value. Yeah, I didn't say as a collective either, but we could continue. Let's continue listening. So the pimp went to I wish you guys could see this, but I'm gonna put the link for it in the box. So the pimp went to he made the pimp's prayer, okay, and he was about to slap um his the woman, and another man intercedes, which is the grandfather. He intercedes and holds his hand with a belt. I don't know if you guys remember that scene. And he's stopping him from abusing her, right? And it's interesting that another man had to step in between the pimp or the man and the woman he sought to abuse or go to his viable option. He sought to domestic discipline her, right?
You ain't gonna hit no woman in my house.
What woman, sir? This here is a hoe.
Not in this house, she's not.
So I'm sorry, my slavery research usually kicks in, but in this case, you have to reassign somebody. You have to diminish the person to a certain degree in order for you to do what you're doing. So because Pops is not seeing her as a hoe, he's seeing her as a woman, and he's saying you don't have the right to hit her. She's diminished in the mind of a pimp named Slickback. So therefore, in his mind, he has the right to abuse her. He has the right to give her quote unquote adult correction. He has the right to chastise her, right? So you have these two different mentalities. One would say one mentality is a pimp mentality and the other mentality is a simp mentality, okay?
Why don't you just wait outside?
Damn. Indiana Jenkins. I didn't know we were still whooping niggas. Fine. Bitch, you got 45 seconds and I'm leaving. 44. 43.
So because there's a quote unquote low level threat of violence, right? And somebody's there to match the pimp's energy, he decided to retreat. But now he's using a level of manipulation to get the woman to follow him. So essentially, if you don't come now, then you're on your own. And it's interesting when she does come, what she says. So let me continue.
42. 11. 10. 9.
You're coming back, right?
Of course.
Time's up, bitch. I am leaving.
No, Daddy, wait!
So he does leave her. John, I'm gonna come to you in a second. We gotta focus on this conversation. He leaves her, right? And she knows that she doesn't have any real options. Listen to what she says.
One thing I learned, though. Come back! Wait!
Run, bitch, run.
She sure can run in those heels. I can't go to school! I can't get no real job!
So the reason why she's succumbing to this abuse, the reason why she's accepting it, as she's running down the highway, she's saying she can't go to school and she can't get a real job. So she's financially and emotionally dependent on someone who's abusing her, and she keeps going back to this person that's abusing her because she's in this compromised position. So when we're having the discussion in today's space and time about education and it not having value, the flip side of that is that if you don't have any marketable skills, if anything perchance was to happen in that relationship, you can be violated. And you feel as though you don't really have a choice, because where are you going to go, especially if you have children? Who's going to take care of you? And so you resign to staying in these very compromising situations. Goldie says, is she chasing him for fear of being cold in the winter? Exactly. She's chasing him for fear she said she don't get a good job and she's not going to school. So what is going to happen? The cold winter is coming, right? But we have to understand the bargaining tools, the manipulation that's happening in order for her to get in that position. So she has to be diminished. You're nothing. You're a two. I'm saying then and now, right? So I'm using real life. You're less than. You're average at best. You're a two. You're not the prize. Whatever it is that you have to tell her to lower her esteem or quote bring her back down to earth, right? And then you diminish her education or her market value, her ability to maintain herself. And if you get her young enough, then she is in a very vulnerable position as to where you can treat her however you see fit, and she really has no other options. Because in this conversation, the man has all the options, and the only option that the woman has is the man, right? So we're looking at how this comedy, right, in cartoon form is really putting us on game. So let's go over to another one of the episodes with a pimp named Slickback and see if we can get any jewels from there.
Feel the burn. Mr. Dubois, my name is a pimp named Slickback, and this, sir, is an intervention.
Intervention?
Your friends have reason to believe that you are suffering from chronic bitch dependency, Mr. Dubois. May I call you Tom?
Yo, it's crazy. So now a pimp named Slickback has become a relationship expert. Okay? A pimp named Slickback. Yo, I can't make this up. Shout out to you, Goldie. When she said it, I was like, let me go back and look at this cartoon. Now a pimp named Slickback, he shows up, suited out, and he's a relationship expert. And he comes to minister to this man who's acting like a simp, right?
Some kind of joke.
Tom, bitch dependency is no laughing matter. Addiction to a bitch can fuck with your friends, your health, and scary enough, even your money. It's a disease, Tom.
And he comes up with all of these terms, B dependency, all of these other catchy catchphrases that makes it sound like, yeah, this is it really a something? So it messes with your mind and your money. And so he's about to minister to that the Boondocks used to curse. So my apology, but this is crazy. Boondocks is kind of wild.
Wait, what was your name again?
Well, thank you for asking. My name is a pimp named Slickback.
Wait, a pimp?
Named Slickback, yes. Please say the whole thing if you would. Yes, that includes the a pimp named part. Yes, Tom, every time.
Look, Mr. A Pimp named Slickback.
No need for the mister.
I don't think I need any help from someone like you.
And by someone like me, you mean a pimp?
So the qualifications, the thing with a pimp, he's not hiding that's what he is. He's not pretending to not be a pimp, right? John disagrees with me that somebody may say he has value, in his monetary stature and social standing, but nonetheless, we could go back and forth with that. But he's clear that he's a pimp because it's in his name. Yo, pimp named Slickback is wild, son. It's in his name, but the man, Tom, is questioning his ability to be in this space. Like what, and that's oftentimes in today's space and time in the YouTube universe, we're questioning people's ability to be in the space that they are. Like what qualifies you to be speaking on this topic at this level, right? And then you would have to either say my degree, my life experience, my studies, whatever it is that qualifies you to be speaking. So this is what Tom is doing to a pimp named Slickback.
A bad guy?
Look, I'm not trying to insult you. I just don't approve of what you people do to women.
Oh, so I'm wrong. So I'm messed up. Well, which one of us is the one missing a bitch, Tom? You don't see me running around looking for a bitch. I know where all of my bitches are, thank you very much. Bitch, where you at?
I'm out here getting your money.
That's what the hell I thought. Thank you, Grandma. Now look.
So when questioned, he throws it back on Tom. Tom is having an experience. Maybe the woman left him. Maybe he got divorced. Some type of trauma, some type of injury in a relationship, right? This is what a lot of people are experiencing in this internet. The girl in the 9th grade broke your heart. Something that you can relate to, so that even though he's deflecting, when he throws the ball back over the court, you're like, that hit. So he was like, I know where I am, and so he goes to prove. He calls one of his ho-hos. And he calls and says, I know where they're at, so therefore you should listen to me. Therefore you should take my instruction. right? It's a game of psychology, because part of being a pimp or part of manipulating people is psychology, right?
Look at you, bitchless. Sans beach, as the French in France would say.
I've had enough. I'm going back upstairs.
Tom, when we first let you stay here, we thought it was only going to be temporary. But damn, Tom, I just don't see any end in sight.
It's only been 2 days.
Nigga, hush. You're living under my roof now. If you stay here, you're going to get some help.
You know what? I know a great therapist. I'll make an appointment today.
That also would have been a good idea, but we've already paid Mr. Pimp named Slickback a retainer of $2,500
Robert, you shouldn't have.
with your quick card.
Oh.
So Tom is out here getting money. Not only does Tom not necessarily have the right qualifications for doing what he's doing, he's accepting monetary gain from the people to do said thing. So he's advertising services. He was receiving money for these consultations, and clearly, unless you want to become a pimp, you wouldn't be going to Tom. It's interesting also that Pops, in this conversation, he is saying that, hey, you need therapy. One of the things in the melanated community is that we have a lack of patience and attention to be able to sustain one another through our issues. So he says it's only been 2 days, and it's very short period of time. You expect so much, and that's because oftentimes we're in emergency mode, so we don't have the time to help one another through our real life issues, right? It's 2 days and it's time for you to go. So it's also interesting in thinking that therapy is the pimp, right? In the same way people come to YouTube for therapy, or thinking that going to unqualified people is actually therapy. I'm telling you, this thing is so crazy the way it's mirroring. And this is not just about one particular person. This is about the way it's mirroring our reality right now. The writers of Boondocks, I'm telling you.
Did you know that scientists now believe that some people are actually born with a genetic predisposition to bitch dependency, Tom?
And exactly when did you become a relationship counselor?
Well, sharing this pimp knowledge for an exorbitant fee is my way of giving something back to the community, Tom.
He said sharing his pimp knowledge, yo, son, for an exorbitant fee is his way of giving back to the community. Yo, y'all help me. Yo, he said, since when you became a relationship, he said, sharing this knowledge, turning on my camera and doing, even though I'm making a mess of things, this is my way. This is in the thought process of the pimp that he's giving back to the community, right?
I want to help you, Tom, I do. But I need you to help me. Help you?
Help me help you. Yeah, okay.
Now, tell me, if you would, about this bitch you have an unhealthy dependency on.
Could we please not call her a bitch?
Say it, bitch. Yeah. Yes, we've got to call her that, Tom. I'm sorry. After what she's done, not calling her a bitch would be disrespectful to you, and I'm not able to do that. Now, please continue, Tom.
Well, my wife...
So he needs you to agree to make these disparaging names, because the power to name has a vibration and energy on it. So therefore, the person needs you to deface the person. They need you to defame the person. They need you to rename the person so that it justifies the way in which you deal with them. We do that today. If we don't like somebody, we name them X, Y, and Z so that we can control the narrative to a certain degree, right?
Sarah. I mean, she's the best woman in the world.
And although unwilling in the beginning, Tom, because Gramps had paid for the quote counseling section with his own money, he starts opening up to this pimp named Slickback, which is going to make him very vulnerable when he gets this advice. But because he's already injured, like a lot of us running around here, when somebody, presses the right spot, even though unwillingly, we begin to open up ourselves to whatever they're about to tell us. You know what I mean? It's like the people they go to for the cheap butt injections. Next thing you know, you got Fix-A-Flat in your behind. But let's continue.
We've had a great life together until now.
Now, Tom is pining over a European girl in the comedy, right? Tom is pining over a European girl, that's why they're like blue eyes.
It sounds to me, Tom, like some of the passion has gone out of your marriage, and perhaps you're not providing enough excitement for it. It's a normal thing in long-term relationships.
And you can help me fix it?
Hell no, I'm gonna help you make that bitch behave. She wants excitement, she can take her ass to the movies.
Did you hear that? So I know I'm not going to help you fix it. No, I'm not going to help you heal. No, I'm not going to help you get past it. I'm just going to make you help her behave. I'm going to make you adult correct her. I'm going to make you show how to domestically discipline her and keep that bee in check. I'm not trying to help you fix anything or heal anything or make anything really better. I'm going to try to give you my way of making it manageable, in the words of a pimp named Slickback. And he was upfront with it. He was like, nah, I'm not going to do all that.
Did you know that at least 75% of bitches suffer from some kind of hearing loss?
You see how he threw a statistic in there? We have statistics. This is one of my contentions. Flying everywhere. 51%, 80%. Yo, the pimp named Slickback threw a statistic in there. 70% of bees suffer from hearing loss.
This alarming statistic means that more likely than not, talking isn't the most effective way to communicate with a bitch. That's when you have to hit her.
Whoa, what?
You tell her what you want her to do. If she say no, hit the bitch. Simple.
But
John says, for the record, you aren't supposed to take the show seriously. There's a lot of stuff we shouldn't be taking seriously, but clearly the internet did not get that message. Let me back it up again. Let me back it up again without interruption. Let me.
This alarming statistic means that more likely than not, talking isn't the most effective way to communicate with a bitch. That's when you have to hit her.
Whoa, what?
You tell her what you want her to do. If she say no, hit the bitch. Simple.
But I couldn't hit Sarah. I couldn't hit any woman.
Has not hitting the bitch been working? I mean, scientifically speaking, has not hitting the bitch achieved the desired results?
No way. I can't. I couldn't.
Tom,
I won't.
Tom, take a deep breath. It's okay.
Appeal to reason. Appeal to reason. So because I gave you a fake stat, I puffed up the stat. He made it up. He's like 70% don't listen, so talking is not going to work. And when what's going on, India B? When all else fails, hit a B. Let me rewind that part. I'm gonna rewind that part. Like you said, Goldie, this is crazy, right? And John thinks it's just in the TV, but we got to understand the power of media. He went for the stat. He didn't tell you where the stat came from. He went for the stat to substantiate his next assertion. A pimp, I tell you, back in the day, a pimp named Slickback. Let me go. Y'all threw me back. Let me go back a little bit.
Did you know that at least 75% of bitches suffer from some kind of hearing loss? This alarming statistic means that more likely than not, talking isn't the most effective way to communicate with a bitch. That's when you have to hit her.
Whoa, what?
You tell her what you want her to do. If she say no, hit the bitch. Simple.
But I couldn't hit Sarah. I couldn't hit any woman.
Has not hitting the bitch been working? I mean, scientifically speaking, has not hitting the bitch achieved the desired results?
No way. I can't. I couldn't.
Tom,
I won't.
Tom, take a deep breath. It's okay. People have phobias. Some niggas can't cross bridges. You can't go upside a bitch's head. Okay, we can beat this. Tom, this is my bottom bitch sweetest taboo. Now she's gonna help you learn how to reestablish dominance at home.
So you have people pushing information. It's exactly what Sean Connery said. Goldie went over that article on her channel. Now you have men amongst men convincing other men that this is the solution. This is what the contention is, that words are not just words in free speech. You are planting thoughts into other people's head that can potentially be dangerous to the female or as well as the male. Why? Because when you get into this space, this is domestic violence. This is not people sitting down saying, hey, when I don't listen, you slap me. That's not what it's saying. What it's saying is if she doesn't do what you want her to do, then slap her. And not only does he say this, now he's going to illustrate what it looks like. When we're talking about KS, we see an illustration. Women come on. They say what you don't want to hear, you virtually slap her. One time I saw a woman saying, well, why are you slapping me? Virtually, of course. He keeps slapping her. So not only is he saying this, he's showing men and women what it looks like and what it feels like virtually to see somebody do what they're doing, what he's doing, which is putting a B in their place. Yeah. India says, I watched this and laughed. What a horrific reprise. I'm telling you, when I first saw the picture, I remembered, way back in the day. And then, you laugh because you thought it was funny. But today, it's not funny when you really realize the implications of it. What's going on, Queen T? Welcome to the conversation. So now, because he's a simp, Tom is a simp, and Tom can't see himself or imagining himself doing it. He's going to break him out of that by introducing him to a woman who's willing to allow herself to be put in that position, his bottom B, right? So he has some practice. So let's see what Tom is about to do now.
Hello.
Taboo will be playing the role of your wife. Now, approach Taboo, grab her arm firmly, and command her to leave with you.
Okay. Sarah, get your behind.
Stop. Say bitch.
Do I have to call her a bitch, really?
Yes, Tom, you have to call her a bitch. Trust me on this one. I've done the research. Now try again.
Trust me on this one. I've done the research. Trust me on this one. I have the stats. Trust me on it. So it's like getting the person to trust you to continue to go down the road to do something within your heart of hearts is wrong, right? But somebody's convincing you because you're hurt and you're broken and you want to kind of get your power back in your mind, right?
Bitch, get your behind.
Ass.
Bitch, get your ass in the car.
Kiss my ass, you little dick faggot motherfucker. If you was any kind of real man, I wouldn't be here with Usher in the first place.
Wait, hold on. I don't think that's what Sarah would say.
It's now tragically obvious that reasoning with the bitch is not going to work, Tom. You have to hit her.
I'm an assistant district attorney, for Christ's sake.
Tom, you have to get past this.
It's okay, faggot. Really?
See, faggot, she just gave you permission.
Ow!
You see that? She has no problem hitting you.
All right, ladies. Okay, look out.
You're definitely allowed by law to hit her now, Tom. It's self-defense.
Okay?
So now she's hitting him because we're hearing that men are not domestically abusing the women. It's the woman hitting. So in this show, it's illustrating that she's hitting him. And so the pimp is saying, a pimp named Slickback is saying, well, now by law, you can hit her because now it's self-defense, right? So it's like goading him into the act.
Apple, you are in rare form. This is my state-of-the-art surveillance center.
Why does a pimp need a surveillance center?
Included in your retainer fee is state-of-the-art bit surveillance. Quiet Storm here has been monitoring your wife's conversations and emails.
Daddy, I've got transcripts of all the conversations today, no mention of Usher. I'm hacking into her email now, but this computer is running a bit slow. Perhaps if we didn't have dial-up.
It is interesting. Yo, son. It is interesting that a pimp named Slickback, who's weirdly familiar to some people we know, has a British assistant in the B surveillance center, fam. These YouTube streets are crazy. Yo, why does he have a British English sounding assistant in the surveillance center? I wish you guys could see the video. I'm gonna put the link in the box.
Bitch, don't start with that we need another computer shit again. You say that shit every time a new iMac comes out. You ain't slick. You better make that keyboard work, bitch, and stop playing with me.
Yes, Daddy.
By the way, he hits the assistant because he thinks she's playing with her. So he just assaulted her.
Message to Usher. Looks like they're getting together at 3 o'clock at the Woodcrest Chateau Hotel.
That's in an hour. We have to go. You have to take me.
Tom, if you're not ready to take control, then going there won't help. I say let the bitch go.
I paid you $2,000 and $500 as well.
Now, Tom, I hope you can appreciate our no refunds policy. How about a complimentary date with Sweetest Capital?
No. You're still on retainer, and we're going now.
Oh, now the nigga can get some bass in his voice. Remember to hit the bitch.
So the satisfaction of when you are able to put the red pill in somebody, when you're able to see the level of toxicity take its hold on the person who you've been ministering to, right? You feel like, yes, you've accomplished the job. I've tainted the pool. You know what I mean? So the pimp named Slickback, he's like, yeah, finally you got some bass in your voice. And he's coaching him from the back. Remember to hit the B. Remember to hit the B, right? So he hypes her up. And shout out to Queen T. Thank you for that. He hypes her up. And now Tom, who was a simp, now he's drinking his pimp juice. So now he's about to storm into the restaurant.
Hey, look, man, I think you should calm down.
So Tom, he got a battery in his back. He runs into the restaurant and he open hand slaps the European wife of his. What was her name? Sarah. He slaps her, but Sarah seems to have like 3 melanated men around her, so they now jump Tom. And the pimp runs. A pimp named Slickback wasn't ready for that. He wasn't ready for real male energy around him. He wasn't ready for people to stand up. So he turns tail and run when he's challenged, when the ideas that he's been espousing, if she called him a daddy, like as Godfather, yes, Goldie, she's calling him daddy. So the pimp, if the pimp is having men's week, or he's having conversations where other men with other ideals may have something different to say, and he's not, Nasara, welcome to the conversation, he may not be able to challenge those conversations, and so either I'm going to hang up on you, or I'm going to let go the call, or I'm going to escort you, or I'm going to deface you. In this case, a pimp named Slickback turns and runs away.
So you see, my dearest Riley, it is this instinctive and burning need to procreate between a man and a bitch that not only keeps the human race going, but also fuels many important industries, such as my very own.
So now a pimp named Slickback, it wasn't enough for him to pervert the mind of Tom. Now he's over here trying to spit game to Riley to kind of tell him about the birds and the bees and teach him about life, okay?
What do you think about homies over homies?
Is that something that Dennis? I don't know what that is.
I'm sorry. He said, what do you think about homies over hoes? He says, is that something at Denny's? I am done. You see, they try to make it so funny that it's hard not to laugh at the parts that are not supposed to be funny.
Hoes, like you're supposed to put your homie over hoe. That's how pimps do, right?
I don't think homies over hoes is a sentiment that a pimp named Slickback can co-sign, Riley. I mean, don't get me wrong. A pimp named Slickback will put a lot of things over a hoe. Money over a hoe, always. Brand new gators over a hoe, absolutely. A turkey sandwich with just tomato, guaranteed. But homies, oh no. A pimp named Slickback don't do shit for the homies. Let me reiterate, don't do shit for the homies. Unless the homie want to walk that stroll and get that money, the homie ain't getting a goddamn thing. And the same goes for brothers, peeps, dudes, fellas, dunnies, comrades, whatever the fuck niggas is calling each other nowadays. Sound like some gay shit to me.
And that's the end of the little compilation. Shout out to the person who put it together. My apologies for the cursing and profanity. I'm going to put the link in the box. That was deep, because if that doesn't mirror our reality, I don't know what is. But at the end, the pimp named Slickback says, no, he's not. He's going for self. He's not going for homie over hoes. If the homies are not making him money, then he doesn't have any loyalty to them. So basically, I'm going to give you information. I'm going to pervert your mind. I'm going to convince you to do things, but when you fall in that very deep ditch, you're on your own. I didn't tell you to follow me. I didn't tell you to do that. Thank you, Queen T. Everybody remember to thumbs up the video. I'm going to drop a link right now. Not going to stay long because I got some juice to go make. I was waiting for everything to steep. That is the link. And tell me what you thought about that. A pimp named Slickback then and now. Are we seeing any similarities in the conversation that we're having, where we have to have conversations about domestic violence, how men feel they can control women through hitting them to get them to do what they want, how this was taught by somebody who is supposed to be looked up to in the community, or in wherever it is, the neighborhood, wherever it is you are, wherever it is you're coming from. What else? It's just so much. Those are like 3 different episodes, and all of them are so very relevant. Let me go back through these comments. John says, oh, wait, what did the Boondocks normalize? Amuni, do you still think black men as a collective, as you said during the stream, but are abusive and condoning? Give me the exact, John, I'm the type, if you think I said something, if you could give me the time marker so I can go back and listen to the context. I didn't say I don't remember saying as a collective, but if that's what you heard, if you can give me the time marker, I can go back and look at that and clarify if it needs be. He asks who says pimps are high value. These are the questions we must ask. Depends, because the definition of high value seems to change depending. So for some people they may be, and that's why some people may aspire to become as one. It really depends on who you ask and who's doing the defining. Shout out to you, LF. What's going on? John, the time marker. Yeah, that winter is coming. It's very interesting stuff. I don't even only just want to make it about KS specifically. It's a mentality, it's a thought process, and it comes in different forms. His may be very similar because according to his own narrative, his uncle was a Mac and his father was a Rolling Stone. So this type of pimp energy is within his lineage, and so this may be what we're seeing manifesting. And just because we are just a generation removed from actual pimps around us, we may not be able to recognize it, but according to his own assertion, he went from simp to pimp, and this is the energy he's channeling, the pimp named Slickback type energy, right? This is not something we're making up or I'm making up. I have videos on the channel where he talks about going from simp to pimp, and right here we see a pimp named Slickback, getting hired $2,500 to change Tom from a simp, or counsel him from a simp to becoming a pimp. The link is in the box. India says she loves the analogy, right? And again, he's going for the stats. This is what makes it believable. People are going for stats, 51%, 70%, but they're not giving the context to the stats. They're not allowing for us to explore it. And so they're doing it just so that we can build this authority, or this appeal to authority, because they're quoting something that sounds realistic. If we explore some of these things, people can make stats say anything they want to. So stats do have value in conversation, but we should be able to explore them without being attacked, right? One time I went on the British assistant, the British sister from across the pond, and I had that same contention about stats, and I was told it was too nuanced. But this is, again, if we're not able to look at what you're giving me to tell me I should trust you, then therein lies a problem. Yep. And his solution wasn't to heal the situation. It wasn't to get them back together in a healthy relationship. A pimp named Slickback said, slap her. He just wants you to control her. Yeah. And this was we were younger, and we were watching this stuff, and we were laughing, and we thought it was funny. This may be why some people are still vibrating with this energy today, because they internalized things like this 20 years ago, and it seemed like nothing. And now in today's space and time, you're hearing it, and it's familiar to you. So you vibrate with it, right? And Ruth, welcome to the conversation. I agree. Sophia said the same thing in the color purple, right? It's funny that it's not funny, but it's ironic that a pimp named Slickback has on the color purple, the color purpling of America. And a color purple represents domestic abuse. When somebody is being abused, that's the color that, that is used to transmit this message. And it's interesting that a pimp named Slickback is embodying domestic abuse, and he's also in the color purple. So in his mind, he's not seeing domestic abuse because he's not classifying it as domestic abuse. He's classifying it as controlling your women. So just like he had to rename the woman to be able to abuse her, he has to rename the activity to be able to control her. Let's see here. Yep. We're going to go quickly to a little commercial as we wait to see if anybody wants to come up. Yeah, the color purple, we started reading and going over it. I think we're on part like 5 of the color purple. There's some wild parts in there, some wild parts. I had to censor some of it because she was bugging out. But it's interesting to look at how, like we brought on Dr. Wick Wallace to have the conversation. It was interesting to look at how the abuses were happening aforetime, but because it was taboo, because it was unheard of to bring the family business in the street, it was covered over and allowed to persist. I saw an interesting video on TikTok this morning where the woman was giving a joke about her daughter coming to her and asking her to sleep over to somebody's house. And the reaction in the comedic interpretation was, we don't let you sleep over at nobody's house. Let me see if I think I downloaded that video. And where is that coming from? That's coming from a trauma, an unspoken reality that you fear that you send your child and they may be abused, right? And then nothing will come of it, because who's going to stand up for that child? Hold on, let me see. No, that's not it. Let me see. I don't think I downloaded it. I didn't download it. So essentially, we know, for many parents, it's like, can I go over such and such house? And the answer is no. They have uncles, they have brothers. I don't know what they're into. I don't know what's going to happen to you or if you're going to be safe. Purple is supposed to be royalty. Yes, it is. Maybe this is to make us reject ourselves. There's a possibility. We know that the color purple, because of the nature in which you had to extract in antiquity purple, it was something that was royal because it wasn't an easy color in nature to assess, right? Or to access. And so, like you're saying, now we're in a place where something that represented royalty and being regal and being composed, right? Because there's some things that you expect of people who are royal. You have to have a level of self-discipline and composure, right? You have to be refined and polished. And to think that you cannot control yourself and that you're going to resort to violence and beating and hitting people, that is like contradictory. And that's a good observation, Arnie Ba. Welcome to the discussion. So I put the link in the box. I don't see anybody coming through. Let me see here. If anybody has any other things to say. I'm making sorrow. India B, how you knew? I got an order for 3 cases, one of each juice. So right now I'm steeping the sorrow. I'm gonna make some passion fruit and I'm gonna make some tamarind juice, which is fire. Yep, I'm about to make some sorrow. So I put it on before I came and talked to you guys. You know, it got to steep for a while, and I'm about to go make them other juices and bottle them up right now. True Perspective said one of my uncles always said pimps are effeminate and don't really like women. That is very interesting. That is very interesting. That is very interesting. That is very, very interesting. There was a there was a I see somebody click the link. There was a video, I guess we'll come back at another time, where Iceberg Slim, I spoke about it before. He, after he went through, I think he went to jail, he wrote a book, and then he's coming to minister to the people, and to the young men who he glamorized this lifestyle to, and to kind of give them the backstory and the after effect of experiencing pimp life, right? Let me see if I can find back that video. But I'm bring sister up. Hold on. Okay. Wait.
Kaya,
Okay, now, Sarah, the mic is open.
you have
Oh, now we can't hear you.
I didn't want you to hear me. I only
Hello.
joined because you said nobody was joining, so I didn't want you to feel that nobody was
Oh,
going to join, so I joined.
oh,
Shalom.
thank you so much. Shalom, how are you? I just wanted to see if anybody had any thoughts.
Kashem, I'm well, and I'm at the pantry with the Emas, so I
Okay,
can't really give my opinion on Slickback the pimp right now.
okay. Thank you for joining. All right. She says she's busy right now. Shout out to those who the pantry giving back. Does anybody have anything else to say before I go ahead and wrap it up of the pimp named Slickback? I know we think it's just television, but art imitates life and life imitates art, and it becomes this circle, right? Where art imitates life and life imitates art and art imitates life. And then you say which one is first, the chicken or the egg. You know what I mean? You try to understand what came first. And it becomes very blurry. The lines become very blurred because this is how we know that they take artists to try to influence life. And this is why you see the artists that's put before us, these young youths, these young children in this day and time. These, like for instance, this young, what did boy name? Little Nas X conversation. So they put this young man in front of the populace and bring him as some polished, squeaky clean young youth. And then 2 seconds down the line, he's doing all type of debauchery. And the people now are concerned that they have already opened their gates or their eyes and their ears to this energy, to this entity. And now he's already take set inside of their life, right? So now the art is now informing life, and then life is going to imitate that art. Exactly. The character definitely did come from somewhere. Let me see here. What time is it? So wasn't that interesting? What there's something I was gonna let me see here. Uh let me see if I could get it for you guys. So I could round off. this conversation. Thank you for those who just joined us. If you just joined us, you're going to have to rock out and then listen to the replay. Listen to the replay to see where we went over the pimp named Slickback. Yeah, the conversation, that sounds like the sweet tea darling. Welcome to the conversation. The anybody know his name is tell me his name now. Y'all know I'm the worst with names. The name of the comedian, he's short, Cat Williams. There we go. So the name of the comedian is Cat Williams. That's what it sounds like to me. Um Here we go. 1971 again. Yes, Cat Williams. So this is a report. Shout out to Hezekiah News. I always say shout out to Hezekiah News because Hezekiah News puts it out there. So this is on Hezekiah News and Film, a 1971 special report, Iceberg Slim, the Black Pimp. Bissap? Oh, really? They call it Bissap? Yeah, the Senegalese call sorrow Bissap. Sorrow is very good for you. It's very good for the blood. When I use it, I don't use a lot of sugar. Some people like to OD and make it into syrup, but sorrel is very good for you. It's red. It's high in vitamin C. It's good for your blood. You can drink the leaf, steep them, drink the tea in the morning time. Definitely, if you have some iron low deficiencies, check out the sorrel. Look, I'm over here selling for sorrow. I don't sell it over the internet because the bottles are heavy. But definitely, if you don't have access to sorrow, we could talk. Wait, let me see if I could get this here. Here's the little part of the interview I wanted to show you guys. A real life pimp named Slickback.
Kind of thing that has occurred in Black America since Malcolm X. He defined our enemies, I should say. And our enemies are both within and without. Malcolm X defined the atrocity that pimping is, that the exploitation of the black woman is.
Let me know if you can hear clearly. So there goes the slap. I wish you guys could see this. Jeez Louise, yo. I'm on the, what do you call this thing? The tablet. And it's not letting me see. But the pimp is walking down the street and pulling the woman's hand. And she's pulling away, so he slaps her.
You know, Brother Beck, your autobiography, Pimp, which you wrote, it may have encouraged a lot of young brothers to become pimps. How do you feel about this? I think the fact that my autobiography, Pimp, the story of my life book, I think it's very unfortunate that there have been many misguided young black men who should know better, who missed the whole message in the book, and that was that I was a pretty bright guy, and yet nothing good came to me except the penitentiary and a heroin habit and misery and the complete waste of my life. And it's just incredible that, but of course, when you're street poisoned, a youngster reads the book and he rationalizes. You see, we must have a rationale for stupidity. Anytime we do something stupid, we first got to convince ourselves that we've got to do that stupid thing. So
for those who just joined us, this is so India says she read Pimp in high school. So he writes this book. This is Iceberg Slim, a notorious pimp. He ends up in jail with a heroin addict. Now he's on the other side, and they're like, well, what's going on with all of the people who became pimps before behind you? What's going with all of your converts? And his thought is that wasn't my intention, right? But he said something that I said earlier. In order for you to first do a thing, you have to rationalize it. In order for you to hit the person, you have to rationalize it. You have to make it okay in your mind so that you don't experience this dissonance, right? Let's continue.
Rationalize all this stuff. I won't get cracked. I won't get caught. I won't go to the joint. I won't go to the penitentiary. I won't use drugs. I won't use heroin. I won't get hooked. I won't be a junkie. I'll be cooler, you know. Said the dude is righteous, but I'm more righteous, you know. So I'm more together than this dude. So this dude is old, you know. You see, this is rationale. That's unfortunate. In L.A., where I've been living the last 10 years, just hordes of youngsters approach me on the street. Um, and they try to pick my brain for the hidden treasures they think are buried inside my skull. And I always slap their wrist before they reach for it. And I try to dissuade them. But if you're street poison, I mean, you're just street poison, and you ain't going to give up your stupid dream of something for nothing.
If you're street poison, he calls it street poison, with the young youths, they don't realize yet that the direction they're going is a dead end. You don't realize a man go your own way and woman go, it's a dead end. You don't realize it. So you idolize whatever you think that person has or represents, and you're trying to get the gems, you're trying to get the jewels. They're teaching me to do this, they're teaching you to do that. They're teaching me to do all of this stuff because you want what you think they had, even though they're telling you that's not the right way to go. When we want something, I said on this channel many times, spiritually, when we want something, we become blind, because desire is a blinding principle, right? Desire is a blinding principle. When a little child is locked in on what they want, they don't see danger. They don't see the edge of the couch. They don't see the book that's about to fall on them. They don't see nothing but that toy that they want, right? And that's kind of how we are when we're taken over by a certain desire. Hold on. Mr. Pimp, where you gone?
I stupidly tried to get something for nothing. And any time that you try to get something for nothing, you're going to suffer one way or another. What happens to...
He's dropping game, but he's not dropping pimp game. He said, anytime you try to get something for nothing, the volume is a little low, so tell me if you can hear it. He said, anytime you try to get something for nothing, you're going to suffer. Why? Because you're violating spiritual laws. Anytime you think you're going to get something for nothing, you're going to suffer, because you're violating spiritual laws. Spirituality, or the universal laws and principles that govern creation, don't work for like something for nothing. But the ego wants something for nothing. And this is why many companies will try to sell you one pill and say you have to do nothing, or because why? They know that that's something for nothing. That's the bait that humanity likes. We like thinking that we got over, that we got away. Somebody gave us an extra donut. They didn't charge us everything that was in the cart. We feel like, oh yeah, we got something for nothing. Queen T says, I'm teaching my son now delayed gratification compared to instant gratification. Exactly. Because in this third dimension, it takes time for things to manifest. So we have to delay gratification. You can't plant your grape seed today and expect your vineyard tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. Right? So teaching the youth delayed gratification is very important. There's sometimes I can give them something right now, but it wouldn't teach them the reality of what it takes for it to actually come back in the right time. And to tell you the truth, many of us adults, we suffer because we want it before we actually put in the work to obtain it.
Pimps and prostitutes, when they become old, the pimps become bookies, bums, winos, dope fiends, but many of them die in joints, penitentiaries. The women, they become lesbians, pimping lesbians, I might add, bordello operators, patients in mental hospitals, as do many of the pimps.
Yo, he spoke a whole word. Yo, did he give a special variety of they become lesbians? And then he said, no, they become pimping lesbians. So after you live a certain life and you're still alive, there's something to be said of what will happen to you. And he just gave a list of, according to his experience, of where people end up as junkies, as homeless, as, in mental institutions. It's raining. You understand what I'm saying? This is the science that, live your life. Man go their own way, woman go their own way, treat people however you want to treat them. There's a backside to this conversation. You know what I'm saying? There's a backside that people oftentimes are not talking about, because when they're having fun and the adrenaline is high and the dopamine is lit, you're not really thinking about, wait a minute, what happens when all this energy comes back? What happens to when all this pump and dump revisits your prostate? You know what I'm saying? What happens to when you have to sit with all them spirits you attached to? What happens when, and then it's like, oh, you gave your life to whomever, and now pray for me. Let's finish listening to the wisdom of what's his name, Iceberg Slim.
Hope this won't mind asking in here for a drink after meeting on the street there.
Wait, we're gonna have to come back. It's this one is even lower than the other one. That was kind of what I wanted to play. Correct, Queen T, is karma, right? It's the universal law of sow and reaping. It's stuff that we think that we're doing to other people. In actuality, we're really doing it to ourselves. So hopefully that was helpful. I'm not going to go too long. I'm about to go back and check my juice. Yeah, a pimp named Slickback, then and now. That's what we were looking at on Boondocks. That's what they were looking at through the blaxploitation era. When he said after Malcolm X, when they got over to the 70s, that was people willing to sell their images to exploit the community. You know what I'm saying? To play these roles as pimps and hoes and all of these things. This is facts. So what we're seeing now, although it may be in a virtual space, it's that same energy, because energy does not get destroyed. So unless this energy is transmuted to something positive, we're going to see the same negative toxic energy keep recycling and recycling and recycling throughout the community. It's for us to be able to identify what it is, how it operates, why it operates, who is feeding it, and how we can demanifest it. With that said, thank everybody for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me go ahead and wait a minute. I'll come back and read your comment in a second. Let me play a little commercial. Let's pay some bills, y'all. Let's play some bills. Hold up. And by the way, if you have a business that aligns with what it is that we doing here, because we're not going to just be, promoting any kind of craziness. If you have a business that aligns with what we're doing here, shoot me an email or drop a comment, and we can link and see whether or not it will be a good fit. And we will, each one teach one, because beyond just talking, I do business. And yeah, we're looking to grow and expand so that we can do what it is that we need to do. So let me check these last comments, and then I'm going to roll. Modern entitled masculine women believe they can have something for nothing. Ask them what they can do for a man they want. They say things men don't care about. John, the link is there, John. I would love for you to come up and share your, expound a bit, because I'll be trying to do the best with what you be giving me as it relates to this particular conversation about the pimp named Slickback then and now. We can definitely come back and have a conversation about modern entitled masculine women. That would even be I would name it in memory of John, in not memory, because John is still with us, but we're going to name it Modern Entitled Masculine Women. And then you could talk all about this part right here, so that we don't kind of mix up the conversation. Because right now we're talking about a Slickback pitback and the use of violence to control his bees. So we could come back and talk about modern entitled masculine women. John, drop that when the video drops. Put that in the description so I can remember, because a lot of stuff be going on in my mind, and then I'll remember to come back and we can have that conversation, because that does exist. I'm not here to say that they're not some very masculine women walking around, and that they're not some entitled women walking around. There absolutely is. So we could have that conversation. But we're gonna keep it clean and respectful, as we usually do. Truthful self flexing your Torah hand. You already know we have to make our works profitable and apply them to not just talking, because the Torah tells you that much talk leads to poverty. This is why we have to have an even hand with all this conversation. You know what I mean? Because if we don't move from the realm of conversation to actually doing, that's a road that leads to poverty. We ain't trying to be on the poverty road. So with that said, everybody bless up yourself. Have a good day. We'll come back again. One. Oh wait. I forgot to say like and subscribe. Hold on. Hold on.